Okay, so I'm giving you a bit of a discount in terms of we're going to look at four ways to understand customers through AI instead of five. But I don't want to make this a highfalutin kind of this is how to use MCP or how to do all sorts of crazy cutting edge methods. You've heard how Spotify and Fiverr and all of these companies are talking about how important it is to do uh, have AI be a cornerstone of what you're doing. So what I want to do today is give you four methods that you can use in your day to day. That's very practical, very strategic, very basic that everybody can use. And I'm going to show you how to do it. And I'm going to show you what the outputs are. And we have the clock ticking on this. So I'm going to carry on. Feel free to ask me a bunch of questions. I'm probably going to look at them at the end. And as we're going to be demoing things live, some things are going to break, but bear with me and we'll see how we go from there. So, uh, he gave me an even better overview of who I am, but I've looked at millions of customer interactions. But what I want to look at today is how AI helps you to simplify that and do it very quickly. You're not going to get as much high fidelity, but you're going to get a very good flavor for what's going on. So, uh, I talked about Hannes's hat earlier and how I wanted to try and beat him on his hat. I listened to Calvin's from Take a Lot's presentation yesterday. And what I want to do is also try and take Calvin's job or at least his consultant's job. So we're going to solve some real Take a Lot problems today. We're going to find out why their reviews might be dropping or what the struggles might be on their site. First thing we're going to look at is reviews and see what people are talking about. Then we're going to look on Reddit and we're going to understand if we can cross-reference some of this. Then we're going to take a customer journey and we're going to go through there and see what we can unearth from there. Then we're going to tie that all together with personas and we're going to see what we can recommend to Take a Lot CEO. So if you want to pay for this, you're going to go to some fancy ass agency and they're going to charge you 400K. It's going to take 8 weeks. Our approach, we have 22 minutes. Hold on, let me start the clock now. And we're going to do it for free. So hold on, it's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride. Peter Drucker, one of the great business thinkers, says the aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well the product or service sells itself. So what we're going to try and do is inhabit the customer and understand what they're thinking as intimately as possible. Here are the sort of rules for prompting that I believe in and that I use all the time. I use AI, numerous different channels all day. First sort of golden rule is create context. So the more information you can give to the LLM, the better, because it can then think and inhabit more effectively. Iteration, you're going to get one idea or one perspective that comes through. That's not good enough. You want to carry on asking and carry on probing in order to understand better. Ask for as many different variances as possible. So don't ask for one perspective, ask for 5, ask for 10, and then pick and choose the best one. If you're looking at iteration, ask for it to give you another variant of whichever one you like, and then go for there. It's not going to always, it's going to hallucinate. It's going to give you some wrong answers. So be skeptical. Don't always take what it says as the truth. So interrogate it and then give it a role. So for example, in this scenario, we want to look at, for example, to inhabit the role of a UX genius, use Jared Spool as a name or whoever, and allow it to think through that kind of framework in order to give you feedback. I'm going to show you how all of those work in practice. But if you take one thing out of it, these are the most important ways of thinking that I've found. So let's talk about reviews first. First thing to do is get some reviews. So you can get them from Trustpilot, you can get them from Amazon, you can get them from wherever. And then you upload them to Claude, ChatGPT, and then use structured prompts for a consistent sort of output from them. So here's a sample prompt, your context, what it's about, who your role is. So this is the people. Here's your task. Here's your outline. So this is a potential prompt that you can use, but you can also use a GPT. So let's look at what this means in practice, right? So where to go? Here we are on the Google App Store, and we're looking at the Take a Lot app, and we want to see all the results. So all we would do, we don't want to look at the most relevant. We want to look at the newest, because that gives us an overview of what's important. We highlight them, copy and paste them, and then I'm going to use a GPT here. So this is what a GPT is that it's just a way of abstracting from the prompt. You don't need a prompt. You just need to use the GPT, and all we're going to do is upload. So what I have over here is Take a Lot reviews. So that is what I've got over here. I just copied and pasted it and downloaded it into a PDF. And what does it tell us from these reviews? Okay, we got a fast and reliable delivery service, user-friendly, great deals, ease of use, blah, 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 blah. So we've got some really interesting insights, and the clock is ticking, but this didn't take us very long to get there. So the first piece of information that we've collected from the reviews is that delivery was mentioned 73 times in 200 views. So people are thinking delivery is awesome from Take a Lot, and fast delivery makes me feel like they actually care about my time. So this is a real brand differentiator. This is a discernible fact that we know and we've learned directly from customers, but enabled through AI. Okay, so now let's look at Reddit and search, because these are all sort of easily accessible pieces of data. You don't have to employ an agency. You don't have to run surveys. These are just things that you can pick up and grab from anywhere. So Reddit is used comprehensively. It's one of the top sites in South Africa as well as globally. And it's all user-generated content. So no one's trying to perform. They're not trying to do anything. You're actually getting an insight into people's psyche just from what they're sharing. So you can use tools like Gummy Search. So Gummy Search allows you to search relevant subreddits. It tells you about hot discussions. It tells you about chats that are important and shows you what's trending. So this is an easy way to get an idea. And what you need to do is not just think about limiting yourself to your particular brand, but also the problem space that you might live in. And so Take a Lot its delivery, Take a Lot its e-commerce and things like that. And think about a broader overview of the problem as well as the relevant brand. So let's look at Take a Lot. So I've gone into Reddit and I've looked at Take a Lot. And okay, so we got something here that says, what's your take on Take a Lot? So this sounds like it's pretty good. What I would do here is there's a whole bunch of interesting articles. I have this tool that allows me to full page screenshot things, and then I download them. And then what I do is I plug them into Notebook LLM. Now, I don't know, who here has used Notebook LLM? Put a hand up or put something in the chat. So what I've done here is I have got all of these sort of articles that I have out of people are referencing from talking about Takealot, and I have put them into Notebook LLM, and I have started to interrogate this. So the interesting thing about Notebook LLM is that it only references what you put in here, so it doesn't look at different sources. It only looks at this, and then you can ask questions about it. So I've asked here, what are the primary strength and weaknesses? I've asked, please tell me the major implications for UX strategy. So it's distilling it even further, summarizing the top major points, and then okay. So one thing I see over here is we've got significant delivery and logistics problems. Now that's interesting because now I've lost my thread. There's a bit of a plot twist because what we saw in reviews that fast delivery makes me feel like they care about my time, but we see from Reddit frequent delivery delays outside the cities, incorrect damaged item, poor stock. So we've got the same company and different reality or the different perspectives. So what we can also do is start to correlate this around different areas. So Google searches are similar. You get a lot of data out of them, and you can get different perspectives. So you look at Google Insights for search. You can look at the keyword planners. And what this tells you is that what are the different volumes? What are the related keywords? And what hides behind that? You can ask the LLMs to give you intent and see what people are doing. So there's other sources and other tools that allow you to do this. Keywords Everywhere tells you the sort of who, what, where, what acronyms people are using around this. This is a free tool. You can get a number of searches a day. Similarly, Answer the Public gives you things like how much volume, which tells you how important this is. And it tells you the CPC, which tells you how valuable this is and how people convert around that. So you can plug that into LLMs, and that will give you an idea of you can get the LLM to give you a perspective about what people's ideas are. So this gives you customer intent hierarchy, problem solving, solution journey mapping, what languages people, what things people use. And it gives you an idea to understand the purchasing journey that's happening in people's heads. So we all know those sort of acronyms like awareness, interest, desire, and action. You can look at what is the best online Takealot versus Amazon is the consideration perspective, asking if the delivery is reliable. Those are sort of on the purchasing end. So you start to build up a picture of what the buying stages look like. Now we're going to talk about something that I find even more interesting is the customer journey. So you can do usability testing with people. You can look at heuristics or ways of examining pages, but this is a shortcut around all of them. And I know we have 11 minutes to go, so we've still got to carry on, and we've got to make sure that we're doing something cool for the Takealot CEO and keep Calvin on his toes. So what I want to do here is look at the key journey stages. So when someone is out on the internet looking at stuff, then you go from the paid ads to the landing page to the sign up, onboarding. So that whole sort of customer journey, and you want to mix it up. So how are things looking from mobile versus desktop? What do competitors look like if we have the exact same thing? And then there's a number of different frameworks. You can use whatever. I mean, I like Andrew Chen's hook model. You can look at that one. BJ Fogg's behavior model or the lift model. You can plug all of these in. If you've got different ideas, the LLM will help you with them. I can share prompts with you if you reach out. So yeah, there's a number of different ways to go about this. One of the things that I talked about was context matters. So the more context you can give the LLM, the better kind of feedback it's going to give you. So If you have an idea of the ads that are working well or the messaging that converts well, plug that in. If you have an idea of what people's jobs to be done is and what their objectives are, plug that in. What are their fears and concerns? What are their motivations? So we want to understand what makes them go faster, what makes them slow down. How smart are they in terms of, or how sophisticated are they in terms of using technical stuff? How frequently are they doing this stuff online? How much information do they have? Anything you can do to give further input is useful. Okay, so what we've done here is I'm looking for a torch on Takealot, right? So I am looking at the mobile journey, and I've screenshotted all of these different pages that take me through the process. So, for example, here we go. So we would look at this, and we'd go over here, and we'd screenshot this, and we'd look at this, and we'd screenshot this. And then as we scroll, maybe look at this, and then and at each stage we're adding to we're screenshotting each step of the process. Okay, so here we go. I have this big bold prompt over here. I've actually asked the ChatGPT to help me with this prompt. So I've asked it for the lift framework, and I've given it all the context it can have. So here we go. Here is the task, and we're going to find out. We're going to audit this mobile journey. We're going to get a score. We're going to step-by-step process. I've given it as much context as you can, or as I know, and I've told it what to output. There's a whole lot of technical gobbledygook here that I'm not even aware of, but I've asked it for things like this, to speak like an expert, etc., etc. One of the bigger tips I can give you, aside from my top 5, is this one. Ask me clarifying questions until you're 100% sure of your goal, because that's going to add more of the context. Okay. Here we go. Here are all of the screenshots that we just looked at. I'm adding this to the process because we've got 7 minutes left to go. Okay. That is uncool. I'm using the free version and I've outstayed my welcome. So let me do something. Bear with me. Like I said, this is how we demo in this is how we do cool demos on the fly. Here's one I did earlier. So we still have 6 minutes. So I better be proceeding so we get a good idea. It's reading through all of these documents. It's looking at all of the different context. And I will hopefully, while it thinks, I will talk through some of the other things just to ensure that we don't lose too much time as it's thinking. Okay. So uh, I am allowing it to do that, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what's going to come out, because I'm going to show you that as we go through. Basically, we found every Reddit complaint in the journey. So poor delivery experience. If you look at step 5, there's a hidden 75 Rand shipping fee. Frustrating checkout process. There's no checkout in guest checkout in step 8. There's trust issues. People talked about this. So there's all sorts of different challenges that people have. And the challenges that we see on Reddit are the challenges that we can see in the journey. I'm going to quickly go through how we create personas. Basically, what we want to do again, we're bumping up as the context as much as possible. So we're getting app reviews, interview transcripts, stuff that we see on social, on Reddit, on X, support tickets, competitor research, what we see in ads, all sorts of things. And we're going to bump that into there. Okay. So if you look at this over here, we've got all of these steps that refer to the different one. Okay, we're going to give it a rating out of 5. This is the pros, the cons, how you fix things, um, overwhelming grid, few. So there's all sorts of different uh, options that you can give in terms of what's useful. But we've got a quick audit of the entire process and an opportunity to create a next step out of that. Okay, we're still going. We've got 3.5 minutes. Um, so we've got all of this context here. Again, what I've been talking about, dumping as much context as possible into this. And then we look at a prompt that we've had ChatGPT help us create. And we are looking at how to create these personas. So we've got a snapshot of the persona here that I've created using this prompt. We've got impatient Ian, we've got cautious Clara, we've got the top pains, we've got the decision hooks, we've got the channels and how to communicate this. We can make this more expansive, less expansive. We can make it even more exciting by getting Sora and Midjourney to create pictures of your persona. There is a cool picture of impatient Ian over here that I created. And then you can ask ChatGPT or Claude or something to create a day in the life and where things fit in. And you can get 11 labs or something like that that simulates voices to read it out in your persona's voice. Okay, so we have 2 minutes and 15 seconds. We're coming up for 20 minutes. But what we discovered. So in less than 22 minutes, we got an overview of what we could find out for Takealot CEO. So we looked at reviews analysis. Delivery is the number one trust driver. So 73 people mentioned it. We can take that to the bank. It's solid insight. We did a Reddit reality check. So the same customers hate the delivery experience. Now, this is you can say that it's a sampling mismatch. So people might complain on Reddit, but it's data, and we got to learn how we choose things and put it all together. In terms of the journey audit, the one that I did earlier said we've got a 42% effectiveness score. So if we look at that overall, that's somewhat suboptimal, and it's not what we're looking for. So we've got different personas that outlines it. So we're looking at delivery, and delivery comes up as one of the major levers, and it's going to be a major lever in any e-commerce process. But we know that's something that we should be working on. So there's cost issues that people have. Can we work around delivery countdowns? There's numerous sort of next steps that we can dive into here, and we can start to corroborate these with actual data that we have, other pieces of data that we already have that we can sort of distill and look at more. But what we have here is that we're the detective in this process, and what we have is numerous strands of information that we can start to use and cross-reference and pull together in a quick and easy manner to understand what is happening in our space and understand, based on user feedback, what's going on, which is the gold standard of any UX practice. So I have now managed
Uh-oh. Okay, we've expired.
Sure. Um, so uh, we've managed to A, get Kelvin out of a job, or save him 400,000 on his data analyst research group. And we've managed to validate things throughout the customer journey. So a couple of my testaments over here, or things that we got to think about: create context, give it as much information as possible, iterate, don't take the first answer as being most important. Variants, if you're looking for design, or you're looking for copy, or you're looking for something, just iterate on it and get as many options as possible, and then you can cross-reference and get more iterations around that. You have to call BS on AI, and you have to know what's going on in order to look at things. So don't accept things, and then create roles. Use smart people and smart insights in order to get there. Um, he has already shared my LinkedIn. I have a website, brendanmcnulty.com. Every week of this year, I am looking at different AI experiments. A lot of them are around UX, product, and things like that. Please sign up, or give me your questions, because I need more content. Yes. I don't know if anyone has any questions or practical things that I can help with. I see that it is open over here.
We have some questions for you. Do
Okay.
you try to run through them as you go?
No, I've got them here.
Okay.
So I have Atisha. I have used synthetic user testing, uh, and I have found it to be okay. Um, and maybe that's the tool that I have that I was using. I don't think I used Pinio AI. What I found, and I can't remember the tool that I used, it was one of my experiments, but I found that it was fairly rudimentary in that it unearthed the personas that it unearthed were okay, and the insights that it unearthed were kind of basic heuristic kind of things that I would have picked up, or people on this call would have picked up, knowing that. So I didn't find it super useful, but I think with all of these things, it's another data source, and I would use it. I would look at a cost benefit kind of thing, and should you be using something like UserBrain to do unmoderated usability testing with humans? Also, I used it about 6 months ago or so, and these kind of things change so rapidly. Um, yes, that it's an ongoing process. So I'm going to continually evaluate the tools, test them, and see what we should do from there. So I am going to answer what are the common pitfalls you've seen when UX teams over rely on AI-led insights. I mean, the main thing that I would say is, and I'm going back to commandment number one, is create context. So what we want to do is ensure that everything that we do is based in user frameworks and user-led insights. So if you've got research, if you've got usability testing, if you've got reviews, whatever, dump all of that in there. Don't rely on sort of AI platitudes and AI thinking about things and giving you best practices. You want to make it as relevant as possible to your specific use case. So the more data and the more informed the LLM can be in terms of giving you insights, the better it's going to be. Yes. Sune, I'm going to answer your question. Or unfortunately, or fortunately, uh, uh, pay a fortune on these dumb tools. So I have the paid version of Claude. I have the paid version of ChatGPT. I've dipped in and out of using Cursor and Midjourney and Sora. And so I use all of these, or I use some combination of all of these. If your organization, but the free versions are great. So the three that I would focus on and use indiscriminately are ChatGPT, are Claude from Anthropic, and Gemini from Google. And those all have pretty good free options. Get in there and use as many of those as possible. If your organization has a Google email addresses and things like that, you get free Gemini. So that's baked into it. So that's the first place I would look because the paid versions are better. They have less of a ceiling on your usage of them. Uh, Mornay, I'm going to answer your question. Um, I mean, people constantly say, will AI replace them? And then they say it's not you that's going to get replaced by AI. It's someone who's using AI. I don't know if that's true. I'm not sure if we are all going to get replaced by AI, but at the moment, my view is that you should dive into it and you should play and you should understand the context and see what's available and how it changes your thinking and the way that you do things. Don't over rely on it. Get involved. Who knows what the future holds? I am AI optimistic as opposed to pessimistic, but talk to me in 5 years when I am unemployed. But yeah, we'll see what we do. So Ray, I'm gonna ask how do how does how does the role of UX researchers change? I think that it changes in that we get to do more. Uh, so I don't think that it's coming to eat our lunch. I think that it allows us a larger surface area for exerting our brains. So if you look at some of the things that we were doing there, it's super boring to go through 200 different reviews and annotate them and say, this is for this angle, this is for this angle, this is for this angle. That's going to take you half a day to do it. We did it with AI in, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes. So we can increase the context, so we can take more strands of data. We can plug it all together more effectively, and we can analyze different sources of data, synthesize them, and get a better angle on what we're doing. So I think what it allows us to see is that the UX researcher has a bigger remit and gets to be more strategic in their role. So they're not just operational on doing the work and doing, I'm not going to call it lame work, but sort of iterative hands-on stuff, and abstracts to a more strategic kind of level. So I think that makes it, I don't know, more interesting, more fun. Yeah, I'm, yeah, I'm a fan. You are asking me about ethical considerations from public sources like Reddit or product reviews. I That's a good question. I don't. I don't have any ethical quandaries about doing that, but maybe I should. So let's see. But my perspective is that they're in the public domain. So people are sharing their input on all of these things. We are not using these as to target anyone. We're not looking for any non-publicly available information. We're synthesizing these to try and improve our products. So my ethical framework feels pretty good about using this, but someone in the comments may know better than I do about whether I'm non-ethical in it. If so, please let me know. Ray's coming in with all of the tough questions for me, or I'm batching the tough questions towards the end. Um, Omnichannel, I don't think it's a challenge for designing for omnichannel experiences because context and trust points may vary. But so if you've got in-store, app, or web, or whatever, that's not a problem because what you want to understand is what's the customer journey. So how does one support the other? The classic approach that you see with a lot of purchases is that people do their research on the web, on mobile, and then purchase on the web. So that's one pattern. What I've seen in some omni-channel perspectives is that people like to research online broadly, and then they like to purchase in store. So if you're buying a blue stripy shirt, you'll look at all of them, you'll get an understanding of what's available, what the prices are, what they're made out of, and you'll get a sort of a short list. But then potentially you want to buy it, so then you'll go in store to touch it and feel it and pull the fabric apart and see what the fit looks like on you. So there are these numerous different customer requirements within that. And if you've gone through the process of understanding what the customer journey is and understanding what customer questions are, what their motivations are, what their frictions are, and what they need to know at each step of the purchase journey, you can start to adapt those interfaces and those information gathering areas to help support those journeys. And it's with all of these things, it's always an iterative approach. So I don't say this is an AI-led customer understanding. It's an AI supported or an AI improved or something like that. It's more, how do we use AI to streamline some of these areas? How do we use AI to help us understand the problem more effectively and improve what we're doing? I think that might be all the questions. If anyone has any more, feel free to reach out. If anyone has any uh, questions about any of the prompts or wants to has any questions about challenges they have, feel free to reach out to me. Also, I shared my contact details, newsletter, etc., etc. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. This was fun.
Thank you. Thank you.